understand something. Plain and simple. To me, Abigail was a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie! That felt good! Yowie wowie. Let me in.
What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Abby's Window, and we have a lot to talk about, as always, today. Um, you know, that tends to happen. So today, obviously, as always, I have the one and only Jodie Gilly, our Abby and your Abby. What's up?
What's up?
Nothing much. Nothing much. Just trying to get through another Monday.
It's Monday.
It is Monday. That's right. That's right. So we got a lot to talk about, like I said. Jody went to another concert and she's going to talk about that.
Of course
But
I am.
of course, of course. But before we do all of that, we're going to welcome in some folks and say hello to all of you. So we've got Odin's son, James Grant, James Chadwick, Dylan McClure, Big Dan, Jason P, Shane Loki, Dalton Riley, Khaled. What's up, Khaled? Shane Loki again. Okay, I said your name. Wes, Alicia, Derek, Diana, Rare Kitty Balloonicorn. Love it. Still love it. Erase your mind. Let's see who else here. That jumped real quick. Brittany K, hello. James is saying he's still recovering from Slamversary. Me
He
too.
said you're still recovering from Slammiversary.
Oh yeah. See, yeah, that goes to show it. I am. Yes, because it was awesome, and yeah, I still need some sleep. So, yes, Mark from Facebook. What's up, Mark? Thank you for joining. Got a good little crowd here today. So, Punk Master, what's up, Punk Master? Jimmy, hello. Am I ready to walk with Elias tonight? I'm always ready to walk with
Hell
Elias.
yeah.
Always ready
I'm
to walk.
curious how that's going to go down.
Me too. Me too. That's why I got to watch.
Curious.
That's why I have to watch. So,
Because it's like Superman and Clark Kent never being in the same room at the same time. How are they going to pull that off?
exactly.
We're not in the cinematic era anymore.
Exactly. And how are they going to do the beard? What's up, Seven Fiend? How are they going to do the beard?
I doubt he can grow a beard. I mean, that good of a beard that he used to have in a week.
It's going to be tough.
I mean, he'll have some going on.
Yeah.
I have a feeling maybe he might come out with like a fake one.
Yeah.
Like a really obvious fake one.
A really obvious.
And end up like pulling it off and saying, just kidding, Elias isn't here.
Yeah. Yeah. That could happen. I could see that happening.
Me too.
Brian Keene, Gust, welcome. Yeah, I could see something crazy like that happening where, they just put the fake beard on. But if they don't, maybe he's like connected to Teen Wolf and he can just grow hair that fast. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know either.
What's up, C Wrestling saying walk with Elias. Let's see. Big Dan saying, do you find this Elias deal tonight sort of an ode to the multiverse craze? Rumor has it Damian Sandow has been speculated to play Elias. If that happens, I would love that. I would love to see Damian Sandow back. That would be tremendous. Let's see here. Bilal saying Randy, Cody, CM Punk, Kenny Omega, and Jeff. All my favorites are out. Yeah, it's been tough.
Cody will be back.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor. Did you hear the rumor that he might actually be back before everybody expects him to?
I have not heard that rumor.
I don't remember where I heard that. Obviously, take it with a massive grain of salt, but
I have not heard that, but I would welcome that.
me
I would,
too.
I would welcome that because he was killing it. So, all right. So we welcome in everyone and had a little bit of conversation. Jodie went to a concert, and I'm just gonna ask Jodie, do you want me to play the video clip first, or do you want to just go into this? Because we got 2 video clips to play.
Oh, go for the video clips, baby.
Okay, so we're gonna play video clip number 1. And we'll be back on the other side, and then we'll talk about that one, and then play the second one probably, and then we'll go through some photos. So here's number 1. There's the first one. And in case you don't know, that is one Caleb Johnson. Jodie went to his concert this weekend. Jodie, tell us a little bit about that before we get into the second video.
Oh, it was a long drive. We took all the kids, except for Tate. He was with his dad for Father's Day weekend. But, Logan and Harper were right up front there with me for most of the show and dancing around. It was absolutely adorable. Like I've said about Caleb before, he's just one of those very energetic, intoxicating performers that he just puts on a good show. Like, he's a hell of an entertainer. Like, obviously he has an amazing voice, as you just heard, but he's just a hell of an entertainer. Like, he really gets into it. He involves the crowd. Like, at one point, me and Harper kind of yelled out, "We love you, Caleb." And he said, "I love you too." Like, he's an entertainer through and through. All of the guys are. They were all fantastic.
That's awesome. Well, let's play the second video, and then we'll go into some photos. Another good one.
I mean, you got to have some pretty big balls to take on the Rolling Stones.
True.
Just saying.
What's up, Eric? Thank you for joining. So we are officially in Caleb's corner.
Yeah.
So take it away, Jodie.
He had a good look at your graphic, by the way. I got to meet him after the show because obviously you know me about presents. It took Windham a little while to get used to that. Caleb will get used to it too about me bringing presents. But yeah, I think it's, I got to give him his box of goodies afterwards. But I forgot what I was saying. See, you put that picture up and I completely lost my train of thought.
I messed you up.
But he was looking at your graphic because it was on my wallpaper on my phone and was looking at all the little pictures that you had picked to put in that graphic and, thought that was pretty cool. So there you go. You got some compliments on your handiwork there.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
But we did have a little bit of a chat about him potentially coming on Abby's for a dedicated episode of Caleb's Corner. We talked about that for a good little bit. And, he made a few jokes about him not being the easiest person to get a hold of, to which I just kind of said, yeah, I know. So he said tag him in something on Twitter. That's the one he uses the most, apparently. And he would see it and follow me back so that we can have a chat about maybe him coming on Caleb's Corner for a whole episode. But like I said, the kids were right up there up front with me. Logan was dancing around and actually made a new friend, which was Caleb's guitarist Josh. It was his son, who is a year younger than Logan, and they were literally chasing each other around the entire venue. So I had a good long chat with Josh's guitarist. I had a little bit of a chat with him and his wife, and because I was profusely apologizing that they were digging up rocks together. But so that was fun to have a conversation with them. But the kids got to meet him afterwards. Harper actually was the one that got to give him the present, and she was gushing like a little schoolgirl teenager. Logan was absolutely adorable. Caleb got right down on his level and was talking to him, and Logan told him that his favorite song was Dead Man Walking Blues. And Logan, Mr. Social Butterfly, we were getting ready to leave, and I was going to hop back in line with my friend Pam to get our traditional picture taken from the same picture from the first time I met him. And Logan just looks up at Caleb and he goes, "Can I have a kiss?" And poor Caleb just stood there, and I, for a split second, didn't know exactly how to respond to that. But he bent down and gave him a kiss on the forehead, which was adorable. But he's gracious as always. He's such a nice guy, and the kids had such a blast meeting him. And I think you have a picture of that, don't you? Did I send you a picture of the kids?
I did not get the picture of the kid.
Oh, well, I'll have to post. I'll have to post it on Twitter. But yeah, the kids absolutely loved meeting him. He was, like I said, he's a hell of a performer. And yeah, I told him about I will be there in September. Yeah, September in Nashville for the Bat Show, and we'll also be in London. So he's got a lot of dates coming up for the Bat Show, obviously in Nashville, Tennessee. And then he moves on to, Kentucky, Florida, Kalamazoo, Michigan, Wisconsin. He's going to be a busy bee, September to the end of October.
Yeah.
Then in 2023, he moves on to going to a tour in the UK, which I have tickets for the O2 in London. Interesting fact too. I have this posted on my Twitter, but yep. And he's doing shows with the Ramblin' Saints in Montana, which is why he said, I asked if he was hanging around for a little while, and I meant after the show. And at first he thought I meant like for days in Asheville. And he goes, "Nah, we got to head off to Montana." And I was like, "Why the heck are you going to Montana?" And I forgot about this show in July. So yeah, he was, see, I lost my train of thought again. I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, interesting fact. So a couple of interesting facts. So if I posted this on my Twitter, and I can retweet it here in a minute. If you go look at the 2 pictures that I took with him on his birthday, the first time that I met him, we took almost exactly the same pose on Saturday, completely unintentionally. It just happened to be that. It just happened to turn out that way. And I was looking at him and I was like, we took almost exactly the same pictures at 2 different events. So now this has to be, this has to become a tradition now. We have to take those same 2 pictures every single time. So, yeah, it's going to be fun going to see him in London at the O2. I'm looking forward to it. I get to go see my family. Oh, the other little fact. So he was talking during the first clip that you played, during that song, about him and Josh growing up in a place called Leicester, North Carolina. And so I made a joke. I said, you know, me and you grew up in the same city. And he was like, what? And I said, but I grew up in Leicester, England, instead of Leicester, North Carolina. And it's spelled exactly the same way.
Wow.
And he said, do they pronounce it the same way though? He said, isn't it Leicester? And I said, nope. It's pronounced exactly the same way. Everybody asks that though. Everybody seems to think that in England we would pronounce it Leicester, which is weird. Yeah, told him that I was going to be at the show in September and at the show in London. And I said, I told you were gonna get sick of seeing me. And he goes, no, absolutely not. I can never get sick of seeing you. So that was kind of sweet. But
there you go.
Performer, if he's anywhere near you, go see him, because he puts on a hell of a show. All those guys do, whether it's with, you know, him and the Ramblin' Saints, or him with you know, the Neverland Express, or him with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Like, he's a phenomenal performer.
That's awesome. You get to go see him, and you get to go see him again, and you'll go see him again and again and again.
I'm gonna hold him to that. Follow me back on Twitter though.
Hold him to it.
I'm gonna hold him to it because he said he would.
There you go. So
hopefully he'll be on here at some point.
There you go. Hopefully we have him on, and we can chat with him, and all of you folks in the chat can ask some questions maybe.
And see my face be bright red for an entire hour.
That'll be fun for me. That'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right. So we have some news. First I want to get to and I saw Joe pop in. What's up, Joe? Another Windham meet and greet. So
I was so excited.
So Toledo, Ohio, and also in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
November 19th for Ohio, November 20th for Michigan. And there you go. There's all the information there. So if you're in that area, go check them out. Are you going to one of those?
Hell yeah. If I didn't, so Toledo, Ohio is only about 3.5 hours away. And I'm pretty sure after talking to him on Saturday that if I didn't go to that one, he may end up showing up at my doorstep and throwing me over his shoulder and dragging me back there. So I will definitely be at the Toledo, Ohio meet and greet. We are trying to see if we can make it financially possible for Logan and Chris to go, because obviously Logan he's wanted to meet Windham for so long. And so I'm really trying to make that happen. We're really trying to make that happen financially. The tickets aren't super cheap. But you know, I know that Logan he'd be more excited to meet Windham than Caleb. No offense, Caleb. Because he's been a Bray fan for as long as I have. So I'm super, super psyched about it.
Yeah, so if you're in that area, and that's awesome that you're going to get to go. And I see that Khaled is saying that he's going to be there, and Brittany as well. That's awesome. Rare Kitty Balloonicorn saying it's just 30 minutes from where they live. So
cool. I think Eric got tickets for the one in Michigan as well.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
Sean Suslowitz, what's up?
So that means that the Windham sisters are going to be back together again.
Now the question is, here's the question for the both of you. Is this now a thing where you get a tattoo every time you do a meet and greet?
Ooh.
Is that a thing now? Like inquiring minds would love to know.
I think it might have to be.
Might be a thing. Okay,
It might
so
have to be a thing. I know Bray would go for it.
she go okay. So for those people who don't know that story, who don't know about the meet and greet in Albany here, there you go. There's the ink, and they got matching ink. Brittany and Jodie got matching ink, and Jodie is showing that tattoo. So apparently, Brittany is saying yes, it's a thing.
I think, yeah.
It's a thing now. So
Just like me in those poses with Caleb now, this is going to have to be a tradition.
it's a thing. So ink for the Windham sisters. She's already asking what you're getting the next time.
I don't know. I mean, obviously it has to be something Bray related. I don't know. We're going to have to brainstorm about that.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So the Wyndham sisters are going to brainstorm about a tattoo. And when they get to the meet and greet, we will probably have pictures of a new tattoo.
That means we have to find somewhere in Toledo that will do a tattoo for us.
And preferably not walk to.
Walk a mile in the snow.
In the snow.
We still haven't been able to pick on Wyndham for that. We forgot in Albany to tell him that we literally walked a mile in the snow to go get that tattoo.
And from not a great neighborhood.
No.
I might add. Not a great neighborhood. So kudos to them for their tenacity in getting that tattoo and going the extra mile, so to speak. Yes, pun intended. So do we know what time it will start? Let's see.
I think it's from 1 to 4.
Let's see. I might need to take off a comment here. You think it's from 1 to 4?
Yeah, November 19th, 1 to 4 p.m.
There we go. 1 to 4 p.m. both days on the 20th, 19th, and 20th. So, yeah. So that's awesome that folks in the Midwest get to do a meet and greet. So that's awesome. We got a little more news. Because Ringside News apparently posted this story that says feeling within WWE that Bray Wyatt's Fiend did more harm than good, and as we can see there, Windham just simple reply. And
you know what? I do love his sense of humor. Like, I mean, you can't look at that and not laugh. Like, dude's just got a hell of a sense of humor. Like, he just takes things in stride, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, none of us agree with that statement, and I don't even remember who said it originally. But that's a bunch of bull crap. I mean, just go look at the merch sales from that time. I mean, you cannot say that it did more harm than good when he literally carried WWE through the pandemic, because that character was so great in those cinematic matches that, I mean, without him during that period of time, they would have had basically nothing. Nobody else could have done cinematic matches like that.
Not at all.
I mean, can you honestly say that the Firefly Funhouse match did more harm than good when it was probably the greatest match of the year? I mean, where else are you going to get a reaction like, I don't know what I just saw? I mean, that was classic. It still makes me laugh. Where else are you going to get somebody that will literally set themselves on fire? Literally. Like, obviously, whoever said that originally was, smoking crack and not the good kind.
Mm.
They got their crack laced with something else that made them stupid.
Yeah, it's comical some of the things that come out, and I mean, all you have to do is look at the numbers, and you can easily see what the real story was.
I think the numbers eventually wasn't that Roman was number 1 and Bray was number 2 that year. I think that's what it was. It was either that or the other way around. Bray was number 1 and Roman was number 2, but you're number 2, you know, isn't you released him. And now it's nice to know that we had all these releases to pay for somebody's whore. So yeah, I said it. Kidding. But it was nice, at least now we know that maybe the whole point of all those releases was to pay for his booty call.
We certainly hope not. Number 1 in sales in 2019.
It's not her fault.
No.
So that was the wrong thing to say. My bad. But $3 million so that he could get laid.
To pay for his indiscretions.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 probably in 2020. Kevin Dunn smokes rock. Dave Meltzer said all those. Well, consider the source.
Yeah.
Because old Meltzer. Ugh.
He needs a slice of mini chocolate pie. If any of you have ever seen that. I'm glad you got that reference, Jeff. Thank you.
Yes. I do what I can. What's up, Hanzo? Yeah, that's that. I absolutely love the clapbacks. I absolutely love those.
Mm-hmm.
And his funny gifs and memes that he puts out there, and
I mean, and they built SmackDown up for him to come out and say, "Welcome to SmackDown." Like, really?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I just said, Dan, that he needs a slice of mini chocolate pie.
Mini chocolate pie.
Yep.
Yep. Or maybe he just is that.
You build up SmackDown and to and you build it up in such a way that everybody thinks that he's going to say something about this, that he's going to address him stepping down as CEO and handing it over to Stephanie and during this investigation and all of this other stuff. And he comes out and rambles off some crap line about then, now, forever, and says, "Welcome to SmackDown," and then throws the mic out of the ring. And you're sitting there going, so in addition to having an affair, you've now screwed the WWE universe by building that up for no reason. Do you know how to keep it in your pants? I mean, I've got my British humor out today. I'm sorry. I'm got that Neil acid tongue from my grandmother.
Let's see. All they ever said was McMahon was on SmackDown. Dirt sheet suggested the rest.
Oh, they know what they were doing. They said he was going to be on SmackDown the day this story broke. The good old political diversion. They knew. They knew.
That's true. Jerry talking about Impact. We'll get on that on Thursday, Jerry. But I like that matchup. I'll just say that. Josh and Joe Doring, I'd be okay with that. But yeah, Um, Jody, you had a very interesting theory.
It wasn't
Um,
my theory, in all fairness.
okay. Well, you
But it
brought up
was
a
very
great theory.
interesting.
You brought up a very interesting.
Hmm.
You
So
brought up a very interesting theory,
yeah.
and I want to put this up real quick. So these are three names. Um, one of them is currently doing the control your narrative thing, which is fine.
Hmm.
But three names, and I'm gonna let you take the rest because this is something that you brought to me, and I just want to set you up for it.
Yeah, so this credit has to go to Rabbit Earl on Twitter. He sent me a message and said, put these three things together. This is the Wyatt family, obviously, minus Luke Harper, which, everybody really misses. But this is the rest of the Wyatt family. And all three of them have not signed with a wrestling company, with the exception of that control your narrative. But none of them have been signed. Is that they're all still technically free agents? Is that intentional? Is there a reason? Or is there that potential that maybe all three of them get signed together for a Wyatt Family 2.0? Maybe not not necessarily in WWE, but I wonder if, maybe they're going to get signed together or do something together, as in a movie or something. So yeah, that's kind of what he was saying in his message, that, is it possible that because these three are not signed, they're still independent, and could there be that potential of them getting signed together as a
Now,
unit?
I gotta say this: the Homer wants these three to go to Impact Wrestling. That's what I would love to see, the three of them there. Now, I don't see that happening right now,
Mm-hmm.
but a man can dream.
Yeah.
Um, he a man can dream. So I would love to see these three back together. Do you think with the passing of Brody Lee, do you think that they shouldn't do it anymore? Um, do you think it's something that's kind of off, should be off limits? Do you think it will be something that will be welcomed back by fans?
I think it depends on how it's done. Obviously, the best people to do it in a way that would honor his memory would be these three guys. They were the ones that were closest to him. They were a family. Bray always called them his brothers. And, you know, if it's done the right way, I don't think it necessarily has to be that forbidden thing that shouldn't be done.
Gotcha.
And like I said, the best people to do that the right way would be these three guys. And I think if it's done the right way, I think the fans would take to it, especially those core Wyatt family fans.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that looks like.
It's an interesting question of what it would look like now. Like,
How do you create a new Wyatt family without Luke Harper, but do it in a way that still honors his memory? That's where that genius mind of Windham comes in. If anybody can figure out a way to do that, it would be him.
that's a good point. Let's see. Um, Deanna saying depends on the story being told. Yep, that's what Jody was just saying. And hello, by the way. Um, I mean, it's interesting because Deanna saying Taylor joins. Would you like that?
Um, I wouldn't mind it. Me personally, I think it would be better. This is going to come out the wrong way, but I think it would be better if Luke Harper's presence wasn't felt. If there was this hole, you know what I mean? As well, I think that would be a lot of pressure on Taylor, because automatically you're going to think, oh, well, Taylor's taking the place of Luke Harper. It's just that you're going to think that naturally, like, oh, well, there was this, big gaping hole that was made for Luke Harper, and now Taylor's in it. So I think that would be a little bit too much pressure on him. And I think it would be better if his presence isn't felt. Like that hole is there and you can feel it, because the only person that could do that character justice is Brody.
Right.
That's just my personal opinion.
And I mean, maybe they use that as a catalyst for the story. And I'm gonna stop my camera because my sunlight is just ruining everything. But maybe that could be a part of the story, is that they're fueled by him not being there, and they draw inspiration from him. See Wrestling saying replace Sister Abigail, which is likely owned by WWE anyways, with Brother Brody.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's see Wrestling. I feel good about my little thought process there. So kind of on the same page there. So that's good. But yeah, I love that. And maybe if they wanted to introduce Taylor later on, maybe they do that later on down the line. But
or you play that into the story.
Yeah.
That maybe there's some animosity that, Taylor's trying to take the place of Brody Lee, and, he'll never be Luke Harper, and all, maybe you play that into the story.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what that would look like to have that, new Wyatt family or Wyatt Family 2.0 without Luke Harper, and do it in a way that honors his memory. But I think Bray would be the ideal person to come up with that story.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a fascinating look at how they could do that. But I would love to see, obviously we want to see those three guys back in the ring when they want to be,
right,
as much as they want to be. We want to see them back, but it's fun to kind of speculate and fantasy book certain scenarios, because there is a lot there to discuss. I asked this question on our weekly wrestling wrap-up show. That's a mouthful, and I won't try to say it 5 times. But I asked this question. We actually did this as a sell or no sell. I just want to ask you this, since I didn't have a chance to ask you, and I feel like I'm doing the sell or no sell thing now, but do you think the statement was Windham will be back in wrestling in 6 months or less?
My personal opinion?
Your personal opinion, and I want to get the chat to chime in on that too. Just in case you don't think so.
No.
See,
think about it. But he's got this meet and greet plan now for November. If he goes back to WWE, he can't do that anymore.
Right.
Obviously, if he went to somewhere like AEW or Impact, they would still probably let him do it. But no, I don't foresee him being back before the end of the year.
You don't see it before the end of the year. Do you think it happens at
I
some point in 2023?
It could. I'm a little bit more not optimistic, but yeah, I could see him showing up somewhere next year.
Next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Brittany bringing up a great point. He also has a wedding to plan for. So, yes. And I love the fact that Alicia and Deanna are saying no sell like we do on Sunday. So, C Wrestling saying technically yes he can as long as it's signed and agreed before signing with WWE. They let people do their prior agreement.
This WWE we're talking about.
James Grant saying I think Royal Rumble 2023 come back.
Honestly, I think a lot depends on how this investigation plays out. Personally, like I think I think a lot of it might depend on that. If I think the chances of him coming back to WWE are a little bit higher if Vince is no longer CEO. If Stephanie, if something happens and he gets found guilty of these indiscretions and the financial piece of it, which I guess it was unfair of me to snap and assume that just because they said it, it's true. But I think if Stephanie takes over permanently, obviously that means that Hunter's going to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the chances of him coming back to WWE might be a little bit higher if Vince is not there.
I think if Stephanie, Triple H, anyone like that takes over, I think they'll do a lot to fix a lot of the things that have been done over the past couple years. Mm-hmm. I think they'll try to mend some fences. I think that's what will happen.
I mean, because I think the two people, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I think the two people that have done the most damage to WWE in recent years have been Vince McMahon and Nick Khan.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, that's not to say that, Vince didn't know how to run that company back in the day, because he did. I mean, it was great for so long, and then I don't know, something changed, and it was probably right around the time that I started watching, maybe a little bit after that, that you noticed it. But I think, it's sometimes you need to get fresh eyes and ears on things to get that little bit of a different perspective. And I don't know.
Cookie Kid on fire. Goose Alexander from Twitch. Yeah, I mean, all fascinating points, and I think if it's under new leadership, depending on who the new leadership is, I think a lot of people might look at WWE a different way, but that's down the road a ways, and who knows what's going to happen between now and whenever they get done with this investigation. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's time for a new regime. I just do.
Yeah. And that, like I said, that's not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but sometimes you got to get new leadership in there.
Yeah. Wrestling isn't the same as it was in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. And I think a lot of times it's looked at that way, and it's just by Vince, and it's just not that way. You can't recycle like that um, over and over again. Um, let's see. If WWE was sold, especially to a streaming service, Wyndham becomes the number one free agent worth big bucks because he can produce content, not just wrestling, and that's what they value.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, who's to say that Wyndham doesn't come back into wrestling for whatever company, but not as an entertainer.
yeah, I mean, he can do it all. He can really do it all. Erase your mind saying, I hope Wyndham gets into acting and movies. Both wrestling or organizations are blah. WWE is scumbucket upper management, one main focus, Roman plus more, and AEW is sloppy and caters to niche. Again, people may think I'm crazy. People may think I'm a homer. People may think it's not even possible. But Anthem owns Impact Wrestling, and Anthem has deep pockets. And maybe it's not a long term signing. Maybe it's only 6 months. But wouldn't you love to get 6 months of Wyndham in wrestling and doing something like very creative, basically being able to do his own thing and really tell stories in the way he wants to? I think Impact is a viable option. I don't know that it's going to happen. People may think I'm crazy, but I have to raise that flag as much as I can.
I
I have to.
mean, I think WWE suffers from the same sickness that the Carolina Panthers do. They suffer from all their eggs in one basketitis.
Mm-hmm.
And they depend so heavily on one person that when that person's not there, you're like, well, fuck, what do we do now?
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're at right now. Obviously, all their eggs have been in the Roman basket, and they still are for the most part, but they put a lot of eggs in Cody. And as amazing as Cody is, he's not there right now. And now they're like, well, shit, what do we do? Cody's gonna be out for a while.
Yeah. And that's tough. That's a tough loss because of what they were doing with him and the trajectory of where his story was going. Yeah. Yeah. Random question. What do you think of the new AW show name, Quake by the Lake?
Is that real?
Wait.
Or did you just make that up? I'm so confused. Yes, Hanzo. Literally, Cody goes out. Well, let's bring back Brock Lesnar. Not to say that was not entertaining, because it was, but
It was.
it was awesome. But I think that's the first time I've ever cheered for Brock Lesnar. Because I used to hate.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I hate Trashberg, but I was excited about that, even though yes, it's a matchup and a feud that we've seen 100 times before, but I still have that gut feeling that Cody's going to be the one to take the belt off of Roman.
I believe it. I believe it. And C Wrestling saying, yes, it's real. Quake by the Lake.
Well, it's nice to know that AEW Creative are in touch with their inner, poet.
You know, I'm going to say this. And I'm going to preface this by saying this is not me taking a shot at AEW. I'm just saying this sounds like something that WCW would have named a pay-per-view back in the day, or a house show that they were doing. Like this is what that sounds like. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's interesting, but I'm just saying that's what it gave me WCW vibes. And I know sometimes when people say WCW and AEW in the same sentence, people take offense to that. That's not what I'm doing here. I wouldn't do that right now. It's not the time or place. But it's a it's a WCW kind of vibe. I mean, it's just like Hog Wild when WCW did Hog Wild and Sturgis. It's just one of those things. I mean, just makes you think like, but Joe thing, Quake by the Lake sounds like a bad horror
Yeah.
film on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Fun fact, another fun fact. Your boy Caleb is a horror movie fan. Just saying. But I really do like what James Grant just said. Me and Chris were talking about this the other day. About how do you get Cody to win Money in the Bank if he's not technically supposed to be back yet? Because that's not it's not a quick recovery. I mean, people kind of lost their shit when Cena came back after 6 weeks. So how do you get Cody to win Money in the Bank if that was the plan all along, but have him not take a bump? And that's exactly how you do it. You have him come in, I think Chris said, you have somebody mysteriously not be able to compete so that Cody is this last minute entrant and he doesn't come out until the end when everybody's down in the ring and he just strolls on up there, climbs up that ladder and grabs that briefcase. He doesn't take a bump. He doesn't risk getting hurt. And then he's got the briefcase. He can hold on to it until he's well and can come back and beat the shit out of Roman.
And he can hold it. He can hold it for up to a year.
Mm-hmm.
So Alexander in the chat showing C Wrestling some love. That's awesome.
Easy to love.
But yeah, it's wow. I mean I'd love to see Cody come back. I would love to see
if they really wanted Cody to win Money in the Bank that bad, and that was their original plan, they could still do it. They just have to do it in a little bit of a different way that doesn't risk him getting injured. Obviously, he fought on that injury, which was hella impressive. But like people said, he wasn't going to make that injury worse. That tendon was gone from the bone. He wasn't going to make it any worse. Trying to wrestle while he's recovering can make his injury worse because he's just had surgery to repair all of that. So you can have Cody win Money in the Bank. You just have to do it in a little bit of a special way so that he doesn't take a bump.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have somebody help him?
Interesting.
Is there an opportunity for Cody to work with somebody to keep everybody out of his way?
Would you turn him heel?
Cody?
In that regard. Or would you keep him a face?
I think you have to keep him a face. You've got to keep him exactly like he is. He's too over the way he is. But I definitely think he could work with somebody that might be a heel to, like I said, keep a big guy that's, a little bit of a heel to keep everybody out of his way so that he can just climb that ladder and grab that briefcase.
Yeah, I agree. I think you gotta keep him face.
Yeah.
Erase your mind saying have the Fiend protect the American Nightmare.
Just saying.
That'd be an interesting bodyguard.
Yeah. So I think he could return at the Rumble. I think Cody could return at the Rumble to win, to win Money in the Bank. But I don't know. I think you either need to make it so that he doesn't take a bump, or he needs a bodyguard.
Yeah.
He needs a fall guy. And it's got to be as a surprise entrant. You can't have him announced for that because everybody's going to be intentionally trying to go after him.
Right. Well, that gets a
Yowie wowie.
that's what that gets. Yeah, some interesting stuff there. Hanzo brought up a good one, which I don't know how many people feel the same. But Hanzo said Cena and then tied in with Cody somehow.
Here's the question. Have we seen Cena on TV since the Firefly Funhouse match?
Maybe once or twice. I know he was on there another time, but he's coming back. And
I know he's coming back, but have we really seen him come back since that match?
No.
So does he come back as a face?
I've always wanted to see Cena as a heel. I've always wanted to see it. Make it happen, Cena.
Is it possible?
Yeah, Summer of Cena last year.
Oh, well, shoot.
He wrestled Roman. I forgot all about that last year. That's how crazy that's how crazy my world has been.
C Wrestling said I've never seen Cena on TV.
Never ever.
I mean, that would have been the perfect time to turn him heel, but
yes. Make him a heel, dang it. I know he never will, but dang it. Yeah, I thank you guys for reminding me. Now it's coming back, but yeah, I completely forgotten last year. All right. We're at 7:00. This was a lot of fun. We got through this was another fun hour, and we'll be back again next week to do this again. Jodie, any final thoughts before we head out?
I'm still on cloud number 643. These are my two favorite guys right here. I'm looking forward to seeing both of them again. I'll see Caleb in September in Nashville. I will see Windham in Toledo, Ohio in November. I've got to try to come up with gifts for both of them now, which is always a fun time. But last time I saw Windham, Logan had made him a book, and I gave him that T-shirt. So, and then with Caleb this past weekend, I gave him a couple of shot glasses from England and a beer glass from one of the local breweries up here, and all the kids made him a card. And then I wrote him a letter. So I don't know. There's another little fun fact that Caleb told me on Saturday. Do you remember the picture that I made him?
Yes.
Of him and Meatloaf, and I had decorated the frame, and I'd written a lyric from Phantom of the Opera on it. And he told me when I met him that he actually put that up in his house.
That's tremendous.
And I was like, I mean, I said something, I forget who I told that. And they were like, well, what did you expect him to do with it? I'm like, I don't know, but I didn't expect him to put it up in his house.
You didn't expect that.
No, I mean, that's really cool.
That is cool.
So that I was touched by that.
That's awesome.
Now every time he sees it in his house, he's gonna remember that I gave it to him, and that's awesome.
That is awesome. And C Wrestling, which is someone else that's awesome, just sent me a thing on John Cena, and it says hustle, loyalty, and respect on the front of the shirt. And on the back, it says down since day one. He's saying, is that a shot at him going after the bloodline? We could see.
Mhm.
We could see.
I don't know.
That will be interesting.
Caleb with a C, Johnny Bates.
He's he's being funny, talking about Caleb with the K from Impact.
Oh. No,
That's
Caleb.
pretty. That Caleb with the C. Caleb with the C. The goat of live performances right now for Jodie. So, all right, folks, we will be back. We'll be back on Thursday for Impact Wrestling, for our watch along, and then for after the Impact at 10:15. We'll start Thursday at 7:45, and then we'll be back again for our weekly wrestling wrap up show on Sunday, and then next Monday we'll be back here again for Abby's Window. So, thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you next time. Take care.